What is going on? Justin here from Bonafide Fishing, and welcome to part 2 of our Torqeedo install on the RVR119. If you missed it in part 1, I installed the steering kit which is necessary to operate the Torqeedo. In this video, I will be installing the stern mounting plate as well as the lift and lower line. So this is the RVR119 mounting plate. You can find this on bonafidefishing.com. Really easy to install. All you have to do is remove the 4 dummy screws that are in the stern and replace those with the 4 that are provided. To start off with, we're only gonna put 2 in, and then we're gonna get the Torqeedo mount on top. Okay, so first, we're just gonna line up these 2 holes so you have one on either side. Get this thing locked down. I'm gonna keep these 2 screws loose before hammering them down. I'm gonna go ahead and seed the rest of the screws first, make sure everything is aligned, and then we can go back and tighten everything down. For the last 2 screws, I'm actually going to salvage some hardware that's included in the Torqeedo kit. I've got these 2 here, and then 4 washers, and then 2 nuts. So 4 of those washers, 2 bolts, 2 nuts. So I'm going to do washer on top, and then a washer on the bottom as well. And the best part about rigging kayaks is everything that I'm about to do can be configured to your fishing style, what best suits you. You're gonna take this out, fish it a handful of times, and you're gonna figure out something that works better, and that's great. But for right now, I am going to do the very basic just to get you on the water setup. The real simple and easy, so let's knock that out, and we'll pretty much be done with this entire install. I went and got a throttle mount from Yak Attack. This is what this piece is right here. It's got a lock and load base system on the bottom, 2 points of articulation, so it's very adjustable and easily removable. And what I did was I utilized the built-in lock and load base system on the RVR. So if you look up here, you have 2 inserts on either side of the paddler. What you do need is 2 of these from Yak Attack. These are, what do you call them? Studs. Goodness gracious. You need 2 studs in order to do this. So that's basically a screw without a head, all right? Layman terms, all right? So I've got that screw down in my molded in insert, all the way down like that. The 2 teeth on the lock and load base system fit perfectly in those grooves on the kayak, and then you just lock it down, just like that. No need for any additional track there. Easily adjustable, okay? I like that position. But if you're thinking to yourself, that's a little bit far forward and that's too high for me, we do have a mounting plate on both sides. All right, so you could do it on the left side or right side. We do have a mounting plate in which you could potentially put some track on there and move it a little bit closer to the paddler, okay? But I'm gonna let y'all decide that, okay? Going back to our hardware kit that came with our Torqeedo, grab the 4 carabiners. 2 are gonna go on the steering cables, and then the other 2 will be used for the lift and lower line, as well as the reverse line. So I like to double my line over just like this, and then create a small loop at the very end of the line, just like that. Money, and then take your carabiner. Goodness gracious, come on Justin. I know it's been a long day. There we go. Tighten that down just a little bit. And come over here, do the other side again, fold that over, double it up, pull it through, and then attach our carabiner. And this is what's really great is I can come down here to my adjustable foot braces, and using the tension knob, I can pick up all that extra line that's in the back and keep it back here on the spool. And that way I can adjust it on the fly while I'm on the water. All right, I'll move this up forward just a little bit. Now let's get the lift line installed. I usually like to go with my strong hand, so I'm gonna mount it to my right hand side, which is great because I've got two mounting plates. I've got one with internal access and then one just a little bit further forward. I'm probably gonna put it on this one that has the internal access because it's kind of out of the way. It's right behind you, which is gonna give you some good leverage when pulling up this heavy motor. Same knot, fold it over, create a loop, a little loop-de-loop here. All right, I feel like I'm the Bob Ross of kayak install videos. I feel like I'm starting to talk like him a little bit. Okay, got that going, hook that up here, and let's figure out how we're gonna route this bad boy. So I've decided to stay away from the removable plate with internal access because since this is the 1103, you're gonna have a lot of weight on that motor, and I don't want all that weight resting on the screw bosses, so I'm gonna keep it off those screw bosses and put our track piece actually back here on the gear track that holds the side kick. This is gonna be a good position. It's gonna allow us to get some good leverage because it's directly behind us. We can pull forward. But you are going to need one of these pieces from Yak Attack. This is an eye bolt, a track eye bolt. So I'm going to slide this on here just to get the angle of the line away from the tank well. So if you've got a black pack or something like that, all I'm doing is redirecting that line to the track so it stays out of the way of your gear. Now I've got my cleat that is included in the hardware kit, and if you're running a side kick wheel system, of course you could reverse these lines and you could put the lift line on the left side and utilize this track up here, but for now I'm just going to install it on the other side of this track here in the tank well. I like where this line is sitting, so I'm going to cut off the excess and then we can attach our included pool ball. I have no idea what you call this. Now that I have my lift line cut, I can create my reverse line doing the same technique. I'm going to create another loop for our carabiner. All right. And you probably noticed I did something a little different. Instead of going through this center eyelet, I went through the side because I'm not running a drag chain, so I'm going to utilize the internal tubing that is already installed. So my reverse line runs all the way down the side through that tubing and then out right here on this gear track. So my line is now exiting through the internal tube, and I found another cleat from Yak Attack. So I put it over here, and I know some of y'all are gonna be wondering, operational wise, is this gonna be efficient if you're trying to operate the throttle control and the reverse at the same time? So that's why I found one of these cleats, so you can physically lock the reverse in place, and then you can use the throttle. But if you're worried about having to manage those at the same time, of course, you can flip these lines and put it over here. But for me, I like to keep one hand free whenever I'm doing this. So if I'm actually, hung up in a tree, I've got a really nice bait that I'm trying to retrieve. Obviously, I'm hanging on to that fishing rod and then trying to operate, the reverse and the forward with one hand. So there's just different situations where it might be beneficial if you've got that free hand. And this little locking mechanism is definitely going to help us out with that. So I think we're at a pretty good stopping point here. Functionality wise, I'm pretty happy with everything. The lift line looks good. That's going to be able to trim as soon as I unlock the reverse. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Trim the motor, and then really happy about the reverse line going internally and then having the ability to lock into position like that. That's going to be cool. But again, this video is just to give you a basic understanding of how the Torqeedo interacts with the RVR119. Now it's your job to get out on the water and figure out what works best for you.